What's up, guys? Welcome to another week recap show where we dive deeper in a couple stories and we just have a little chit and a little chat and we talk about what's going on in the world. I appreciate you guys that listen to these podcasts. These are like my true followers, my true friends, my true fans, whatever you want to call yourself. You take time out of your day to listen to my thoughts. And I think you appreciate. I got a lot of emails about this show, and I really appreciate them. That you feel like you like it because you feel connected to me because I'm just shooting off the hip, and we're having a conversation about the week and what's going on. And last night I was a little surprised, but not, when I was reading through Twitter and I saw, we just bombed Syria. And I saw a lot of people, like the Young Turk guy. For those of you who don't know, Young Turk is very progressive and liberal and wanted Joe Biden to win, of course. But they're surprised that we bombed Syria. And supposedly even Kamala Harris was supposed to be a part of the meetings, but then wasn't, because she was going to start taking over more of the foreign affairs kind of stuff. But this is Daddy's world. Daddy Biden knows war. And Trump was like the most not encouraging war president we've had in a very long time. And people like to not give him credit for that, which is most liberals do. And even some conservatives are kind of weirded out by that. And I think it's a good thing. There's so much going on in the world, and we're in this pandemic. You know, this huge survival rate, but in a pandemic, and the economy is struggling, and people are losing jobs, and pipelines are being cut, and minimum wages being hiked. But yeah, we should start a new war campaign. And I know a lot of it has to do with the pipeline going on with Russia and all that stuff. You never mess with daddy petroleum oil money. You don't do that. Because that's how wars start. I just, what are you enjoying? I'm drinking a little Woodford Reserve Select Barrel, one of my favorite bourbon. It's been a crazy week. The irony of seeing also Jen Psaki and Biden's old tweets about how Trump was bombing Syria and how idiotic and stupid it was. And yet he just did it. I think it shows kind of my idea behind this. What I'm seeing more from politics is that politics is just a game now. I mean, it's always been a game in some capacity, right? To get elected and to, not tell the public all the truth. You know, because you don't want to make them crazy and let them know what's actually going on in the world because they might go nuts. But just to tell them enough truth to continue to be elected. And I'm hoping, due to the internet, you are seeing more of the hypocritical nature of politics more and more. And I think liberal media and like just the liberal side of media is having a harder and harder time combating against the obvious truth of like how incredibly two-faced a lot of people in political systems are, particularly in the Democratic side. Like Biden and, Jen just saying how bad of a deal this whole bombing Syria thing is, and then now they're going to act like it's not a big deal and probably not even going to talk about it. But people are noticing, and even progressives are getting mad, and which is good to see because I honestly think the more time goes on that progressives and like libertarian conservatives are going to become closer together because they're going to start to see how that there is more and more as time goes, especially with democratic politics, is that the two-class system will become more in place of the elite and then the people without power and without money. And you're seeing that played out more and more. I mean, obviously, as small businesses are closing, and bigger businesses like Target, Amazon, Costco, these kind of businesses are growing like crazy because they're exploding because the mom and pops are being shut down. And Democrats don't care. They act like they care. They're like, support small business, especially during this month. Support black businesses, which is all great, but it's all a lie. You can't say support these small businesses and then, cut their reason to survive. So the two-faced nature of politics is the most exhausting thing to watch and makes you just harp on the issue of term limits more and more. I'm so tired. I hate these politicians that just stay in office forever and then they become I hate career politicians. I can't stand it. It should be like a way of, how they call themselves like servicemen, public servants. They don't serve, you don't serve a job that you grow in, and then you can just vote on how much you get paid, and then you get all this political clout, and you can go on shows like SNL. You're not a servant. You are you're an actor. You're an actress. You're just saying whatever you can say for the power and the fame and the money. I mean, look at Obama. He came in the presidency not very well off. He's worth $40 million. And he has the audacity this week to talk about how black people need reparations because it's unfair. You are worth $40 million for doing nothing. Sorry. I cannot stand these politics like Joe Biden, who didn't have money and got in politics and now is worth millions. And then his family rakes in this money, and all my liberal friends, I can't believe, Don Trump Jr. and Eric Jr., they're raking it in from Trump. Trump had businesses before. Okay, he wasn't a career politician. Yeah, I don't like the nepotism of Trump, and I understand why probably Trump did, because he felt like he could only trust his family. I mean, could you understand that? Just seeing the way the media and actors and all these people who had his back before he was president all of a sudden turn their back on him. So he felt like he can only trust his family and not even maybe his supporters. So I understand it, but I also hate that nepotism because I don't think it's healthy, because you get a bunch of yes men around you, et cetera, et cetera. But I cannot stand these politicians that just get in office and then become multimillionaires. And then they have the audacity to talk about about white privilege, and then they look at people like me who are, I'm in school and I'm working full time and I'm doing an internship and I'm just exhausted and I'm trying to scrape by in life, and then they're saying you are so privileged, you can do whatever, you can have whatever you want. No, I'm not you. Yes, elite white liberals, you are part of you're part of it. You are it. Especially all these people who are talking about all white people are racist this whole week. They're literally coming out and talking about how they're racist. I'm not racist. But if you want to come out and say that all white people are racist and you're just saying that because you yourself are, that is your way of admitting to me that you're a racist. And I think a lot of them are. Because a lot of them like to, subjugate and uplift and just work around, and they're so fixated on race. And then they tell you that they're not racist, but you are, because you just want to look at people and judge them by the content of their character and not the color of their skin. What Martin Luther King said, and they're like, that is racist. This is not racist by, you can have this water fountain, go to this bathroom. That's not racist. And so, and then we had that bill with the transgender bill, trying to equal rights. They're trying to make it seem like this, it's the same thing as turning away gay. No, it's not. There's so much more going in this bill. We are in a juncture in life where subjective truth is being uplifted higher than objective. There's nothing wrong with subjective truth, but with subjective, you also have to have objective, and then you have to balance them, because sometimes the objective truth isn't true for subject. So you have to have a balance. You can't just have objective, or else you don't understand how subjective truth works. Where your inner bias, you see red when it's really blue, like the blue and black dress thing. There are things in life that I will see things differently than you just because of my bias, just because of my culture, because of my upbringing, because of where I'm at in life, because of my age, because I have glasses on. There's so much. You have to have both truths. You can't have just one. So, but right now, politicians are trying to tell you, no, this is truth. There's no such thing as like subjective and objective. This is just truth. And so, and the party of science only cares about science when it fits their agenda. So therefore, their agenda is just subjective truth. So they can change the truth however they want. I'm getting in the weeds. I'm just so fired up right now about where we are as a culture and where we are as a society and the redefinition of things, like even Mr. Potato Head. That is like the stupidest story ever. And I listened to some podcasts. I saw Ben Shapiro freaking out, and then I saw my liberal side of Tim Cass. I like that guy, but he was trying to say that it was like a smart financial decision to make only one. And I'm calling BS on that, because the irony of the moment of changing gender norms it's too ironic to have a Mr. Potato Head thing pop up. It's not a business, just strictly a business decision like some of my liberal friends think. And then the whole $15 minimum wage, which everyone knows scientifically and business proven that, 1.3 million people or whatever will lose their jobs. And, in a time like this during the pandemic, that is not good. We also passed 500,000 COVID deaths, and I saw somebody who was like, 50 states, that's 10,000 people died per state, which is interesting to think about it that way. But so a lot of deaths, it's really sad. But here's a story about COVID that I found really interesting according to AP report. AP News is reporting the flu has virtually disappeared from the United States, with reports coming in at far lower levels than anything seen in decades. I wonder why. Reported yesterday, adding that experts say that the measures put in place to fend off the coronavirus, mask wearing, social distancing, and virtual schooling, of course they add that in there, were a big factor in preventing the twin-demic. God, I hate that. Of flu and COVID-19. A push to get more people vaccinated against flu probably helped too, which this is the first year I didn't get vaccinated for the flu. I'm just putting it out there. And I still haven't been vaccinated for COVID-19, and I won't because there's literally no point. It did fewer, and people traveled far less than they did. The flu season typically peaks between December and February each year. The Centers of Disease and Control Prevention estimate that the flu case causes up to 45 million illnesses and up to 810,000 hospitalizations and up to 61,000 deaths each year. But this flu season, there have been just 925 cases of the flu around the United States. Johns Hopkins Medicine reports 925 cases of flu. Flu season typically runs through May, so there's a chance the flu cases will pick up in the next few months. But also, one strain of the flu, influenza B, tends to circulate later in the season, the organization pointed out. This year has been incredibly different, probably not seen before for 100 years. Beth Daly, of the chief of NH Bureau of Infectious Disease Control, stated, normally there's literally thousands of people who get influenza. On an average week in winter, 10% of all people dying are people getting dying from influenza. This year is very remarkable. Is it not weird? I feel like some of these things people say out of their mouths, they know they're ironic or they know they might be lying or there's something fishy going on, but they just say it anyways. And I feel like that's what just happened. 925 cases of the flu this year so far. Of the millions and millions of people that live here. So that's a new report, and I thought you should know that. 925,600. Oh, guys. Hey, guys, I'm going to start doing some more live streaming on YouTube, Instagram, and everything like that. I'm starting to do, like, watch old movies and just kick back, laugh, and talk about life. And you can call into the show, but I'm going to have the movies going on in the background, and we can just talk about stuff. Another story I want to talk about is Cpac going on right now, and I have been listening, and I am not impressed. The Republican Party, the Republican Party is boring to me. I think they are all talk. Maybe Ron DeSantis is the only thing that is a bright spark to me. Other than that, I just don't really care for them right now. I'm tired of them. I'm tired of them as like politicians, and I'm tired of the rhetoric of we got to fight and we got to do this, and people are taking over, and they just don't do anything. They had everything, and they could have done tech censorship stuff, and they decided not to. And they could have done a lot of things, and they decided not to. And I think they're spineless. I think Lindsey Graham is spineless. I think there's so many I think are spineless, and I think Mitch McConnell is spineless. And I think they're just like the rest of them, just like being in power. And they feel comfortable in their states because their states are very red, and they're okay with that. So I think the Republicans that aren't in red states are pretty good. But we'll see what happens later in Cpac. I'm excited to see what Donald Trump says because, love him or hate him, he's literally exciting to watch. And he's funny to watch, and he's the comedian, and how Biden is the most popular president of all time, it's beyond me. Or is it? And every time Biden talks, I'm like, how are you even the Democratic nominee? I mean, it just shows you the establishment is real, and like the war. I mean, the firing of missiles in Syria just restated that and shows it. And we're back where we were. We're the elite are in power, and they're making changes, and the media are on their side, and the media covers up everything he does. And I've been seeing some videos of CNN going after Cuomo, which I've been really excited about, and I really like that because he's such a tool. And there's sexual harassment stuff coming out, and he's just such a tool. And the fact that some of my liberal friends and stuff were like arguing for him and saying that he did a good job is beyond me. And not beyond meat, which I rather eat regular meat, farm raised. Oh, man. Anyways, so my thoughts about truth is there's nothing wrong with subjective and objective truth, but you must have both. You can't have one or the other or choose one. There's both, and you have to learn how to work between the two. There's nothing wrong with subjective, but you need to, if through your subjective, you need to use objective truth to understand more deeply maybe your subjective, and maybe because sometimes with subjective truth, you can be wrong. And the only reason I've been talking about subjective and objective, because we're in a culture right now where people are trying to redefine words, redefine sex, redefine gender, and tell you what's right and what's wrong, and you look at studies in your face, and then they tell you, that's not science, and that's not actually factually true, and you're like, well, it literally says it right here, and people are afraid to even come out and speak up about what's really going on in science, and because it's more of a totalitarian rule going on, and they're trying to create a narrative and create a new culture and a new global reset, as they've said over and over again. Are you a part of it? Good luck, people. Good luck this weekend. Enjoy your weekend. Hopefully, if you're watching Cpac, hopefully something exciting happens. I might do live streams with it, but We'll see. I'll let you know. I appreciate you guys for watching. Be sure to follow me on Twitter. I don't really care about Twitter. Follow me on Gab, Parler. I'm on Minds.com. Check out Minds. I like that. And I'm on Instagram and TikTok. And yeah, be sure to check me out. I appreciate you guys. Have a fantastic day.